What's up, my friends, and welcome back to the Dragon's Lair. This is the Taoist Dragon, but you can call me Toasty, and I'm in a different room of my father's house. This is my stepmother's office. But yeah, I'm sorry there was no episode yesterday. I don't really have a place to record here. And yeah, that's just pretty much it. I don't really have a place to record. But I'm hoping to get some recording in tomorrow. I did say that I was going to try to record my dad. He's a cab driver and he has to get up at like 4 in the morning to go do his shift, so it's been hard to find time to do that. But it's in the works, and he was showing me how to make a pipe today, because that's part of shaman stuff, which I'm going to carry on the tradition and the torch afterwards. He'll show me some sort of techniques tomorrow and whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry about yesterday because I didn't say anything anywhere, and that's because I watched Star Wars. Yeah, the newest Star Wars. Yeah, I was just exhausted when I got home. It was my Christmas present to my dad. Don't want to go into too many spoilers, but the new Star Wars is not like my favorite by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel that this director did a really great job, and so did the writing team. But I feel its strongest point is that pretty much every character is dynamic, which for those of you who don't know, dynamic characters in literature and stories are characters who have a growth arc. They change over the course of the story, whereas a static character remains the same from the beginning of the story to the end. Now, something this film even did was that the mentor has a character arc. He's dynamic, whereas in most stories, the mentor is a static character. So that's just really cool, but none of it felt forced. All the change and growth from the characters felt natural. Especially like Kylo Ren is shaping up to be a really cool villain, and an actually pretty serious villain, because my dad likes to point out he's babyface. He's not necessarily imposing. Oh, I forgot to mention that my stepmother's computer is running, which is why there's this ungodly loud fan sound. And I'm sorry, but that's part of the reason why I haven't been recording is no place. So, I get what I get. But it's okay. And so yeah, Kylo Ren is shaping up to be a really cool villain, and this movie was just really well acted. I feel it's a lot to the direction and the writing. No offense to J.J. Abrams, because I felt he did a fine enough job with the Star Trek series and the first Star Wars, of the new movies. That being said, I see a lot of the criticisms for the first Star Wars. I should stop calling it the first because it's not the first. Star Wars The Force Awakens just being a retelling of A New Hope. I see that. It was okay with me. I feel like it was one of the film's strong points, because it's sort of like an echo, like a repeat, as opposed to it just being necessarily too much of the same thing. Didn't really feel like a cop-out. It felt like it was deliberate, which is the big deal. But I'm not talking about this movie. In The Last Jedi, it does have elements of all of the prequel movies, but there was more its own thing, and it's really well made, and definitely my favorite out of the two new movies. So if you haven't seen it yet, obviously go watch it. I recommend you watch it in 3D, just because most people don't have the technology to watch 3D in their own homes, and give it a shot. You know, watch it in 3D. You can always watch it in standard def later. But in terms of the 3D, they didn't really play up to the 3D most of the film. So it feels weird for me to say that after I said I recommend it. I recommend it just because it's harder to watch 3D at home. But in terms of the movie, it did some shots that played up to the 3D in the beginning. And then most of the movie, you just kind of forgot that it was a 3D movie and didn't do anything with it. So, in my head was empty. But otherwise than that, the 3D always makes the movies darker. So, to me, it's like not necessarily better, but I do recommend it because it's different. You're not going to be able to experience it later. But yeah, it's I don't want to just say it's a great movie because that's a very unhelpful review. It's like, okay, so it was great, how? But yeah, it was really well made because of how it pulled off the having pretty much every character be dynamic without it feeling forced or just detracting from the story by having two main character arcs going at once. It was well developed for each character, so it didn't take away from anybody else's, and it just felt like part of a complete package. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to the Dragon Rant. I hope you have a beautiful day and stay beautiful.